right, welcome back to the Seven Figure Annuity Sales Podcast, and I guarantee you the listeners here today are going to be glad to know it's not just Caleb running solo, and we got Chad on here. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's hard to, and I apologize to my listeners. For those that are not there, we've just been through a horrific situation building a house, and it's been very trying, very revealing, honestly, to emotions. I cry now, and I'm like, this is a new thing. Like the other day, I was driving and I just started crying in the goodness of God for an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm like, what are these little things in the corner of my eyes? But every day, multiple times, usually I'm in it, which is creating a compassion for what I do as well. Because, if we can't, it's easy to have empathy without emotion, but it's hard to have compassion without emotion. And that's what I'm finding. I was very empathetic to people's situations, but now I'm turning more compassionate. So like when I was meeting with a client the other day and they were telling me their situation, I actually was getting a little emotional about it.
Yeah.
And it's just a different, and I don't know how to explain it other than I've always told people to be real as a person when you're in front of your clients, be real. Don't try and be someone different. This is in general. This is in life in general. But I'm telling you, I miss doing this. Unfortunately, I'm not as witty as I usually like to be against Caleb, but I don't quite tease as much. But you know what? I'm also learning that's not always a good thing. I mean, sometimes there's truth in teasing, and so it is true. It is true. I think you're a middle schooler. It is true. I think I am proud that your hair is a little lower than I usually see it. So it's a good move. So let's go right into it.
Yeah, man. Well, and just to address it, I don't think you need to apologize for having some time off. We did a episode a few weeks ago kind of talking through your situation, and I think everybody's got grace for it, and prayers. I've talked to some agents that have asked, like, hey man, how's Chad? And I'm like, he's doing the best he can with the cards he's been dealt. And so people are holding you in their prayers and thinking of you often. So
I have never honestly seen the outpouring ever. I mean, the only other time I think it was this bad was when Ariel had her brain aneurysm, but we didn't have social media then.
Yeah.
We had MySpace. And so it was a little different.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, it is a blast from the past. You weren't even born yet.
Oh man. Well, I was at
your
a conference.
space was in the womb. That's what it was.
So I was at a conference this week, and it was kind of funny. I do think I was of all of the IMO reps and all of the carrier reps, I was definitively the youngest individual there. I think there were some others that were younger than me that worked at our wholesale partner that we have that was putting on the event, but man, it was funny. And it's always cool to be a young guy in the industry and be able to go and have conversations at a high level with people is rewarding. It's rewarding. I'm excited to see what it looks like in 20 years.
It's nice to finally meet to meet Rick's grandson. And wait, I just aged Rick a lot.
No, he's not that old.
No, he's not. He's definitely not.
No, but it was cool. There was actually a statement made by a wholesaler, a story that he told that I wanted to reiterate today on the call, because this should illustrate how we approach annuity sales, I think, about as well as any. This individual, they have a young kid, baby, and he likes to ride bikes. And so this wholesaler went into a bike shop, and he likes to shop local, not just get on Amazon, but, go support some local businesses and whatnot. So he walks into a local bike shop and he says, hey, I'm looking for one of those Bell brand, bike seats that you can attach to your bike and your kid can ride in it and all this stuff. Do you have it? And the salesperson there, he said, oh, no, we don't carry that. and then tried to sell him on this little cart that you pull behind the bike. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Went on to the next store. Same deal. Walks in, you have a Bell bike seat that, attaches to the bike. Salesman says, no, we don't have that, but look at this. We have this trailer that kind of pulls behind the bike that you can put the baby in and everything. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Goes to the third store, asks, hey, do you guys have a Bell bike seat? And he's like, no, we don't sell those. Now, but we do have the trailer that pulls behind the bike. And he goes, no, that's not what I'm looking for. The salesman responds, he says, well, let me ask you this. Why are you looking for a Bell bike seat? And he responded, he said, I think that's the most compact option. I think that I can store that more easily. Salesman goes over to the little trailer thing, folds it up, hangs it on the wall, shows him how compact that thing can actually be, that it's actually more compact than the seat would be itself. Showed him something he didn't know that was actually better for his situation than what he thought he was looking for. He ended up buying that trailer piece from the third store and the third salesman. And the case in point there is figure out the why. We get leads sometimes. People come in and they tell you what they want, or they think they know what they're looking for. If you don't take the time to figure out why they're actually saying they're looking for what they're looking for, you just sell them what they say they're looking for. Or if you don't offer what they're looking for and you just slough it off like, oh, we don't do that, you don't get to the root of it, you're leaving a lot of business on the table. And I think that story does a really good job of articulating the importance of asking the right questions.
I completely agree, because there's this perception of annuities that I always say there's 9 categories of annuities. There's 2 that I use. And it always blows them away, because they think all annuities have high fees. They think all annuities, you die immediately, the money's gone. They have these perceptions of how they work, but when you take time to explain how they truly do work, it's like this shift in their head going, I didn't know this was available. And this saying I've been using a long time is like, well, when are annuities viable? What are they about? What do they do? And I said, you need to realize an annuity is the second oldest payment in the history of mankind. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, of course, commodities are first. At the very long time ago, it was like salt. Salt was used as a massive commodity, because it was used for preservation of food. Well, of course, you have gold, silver, you have silk, you have things that have been traded. But, around the Roman Empire, when they came out, and there's been forms of annuities or annuity type products before the Roman Empire. Think about it. Even in ancient China, 4,000 years ago, their royals were paid monthly a stipend. Even when they retired, it was still a form of an annuity. Even though it wasn't annua or annuity, it was still a form of doing that. And if we think about that, they had guaranteed payments for life. And, there's 2 things that make people the happiest, obviously 3, I would say, is 1, during retirement, being healthy, 2, no debt, and 3, guaranteed income for life. Those are the 3 things that really establish a healthy relationship. So when you say, hey, you know what, you may not want this thing being towed behind your bike, but realize what this does. This literally tags behind, attached to you in life as you continue to go, and you got your little cart of money that's following you all around wherever you want to go to help you get through life. And so, I do like that point, that guy who talked about. That's a good point.
Yeah, I thought it was, and his point was ask the right questions, figure out what the need is here, and then let's put the right thing in place for them. I just had a thought, Chad. Actually, this was something that Rick was talking to me about on our way to go do curling. We did curling at this. It was super cool. I've never done it before.
Okay. Yeah.
Way more challenging than you think it is. But on the way, Rick was
talking. It looks very challenging to me.
It was a lot of fun. I'd definitely do it again. He was talking to me about a chart that he has and he likes to reference to, not that he's doing a bunch of personal sales, but it was basically a chart that shows the 10-year treasury, which is heavily impacting on our annuity rates. Right. Yeah. That's like when we talk about interest rates and we look at that 10-year treasury, the bond yield that we're going to see there, that's massively impactful to our annuity rates. When the treasury is low, we're going to see lower rates. When the treasury is high, we're going to see higher rates. And so that's the way that it moves. So if you can help a client understand that these things tend to move similarly, and you can show them a long-term chart of what the 10-year treasury was yielding, and you can show them where we're at right now, it helps to create a little bit of urgency in the reality that we are in a high rate environment, aside from just telling them, oh, you know, our 10% caps we have right now, or our guaranteed lifetime income, it's higher than we've seen in the last, you know, decade plus. Some of these products that we have are about as competitive, maybe more so, than what we've ever really seen. And it's largely because of that.
I tell people that this is the best annuity season I've ever seen in 21 years. I mean, because even though treasuries were higher back a few years ago, or well, a decade plus ago, the capability and I believe the management of insurance companies has greatly influenced the usage of the annuity, the benefits of the annuity. I mean, you think about things like long-term care doublers or 1.5 time multipliers. Those weren't really a thing back 10, 15 years ago. You think about some of these companies that have actually really good payouts and good index strategies. Once again, it's a phenomenon that I hope continues for a while. I'm kind of torn because when the market crashes, we do really well. But when we have high interest rates, so I'm assuming what you're saying is you're going to get that chart put together for us and get that sent out, right?
Yes, because I think it will help create urgency. The thing, and I've thought about this, we've been flashing clients with some of the best payouts, some of the best index rates that we've ever seen. Yeah. And when our interest rates come down, and they get, kind of get back to a place of normalcy, a long-term normalcy, right? We've been here for a couple of years now, a few years. We've set record years industry-wide. $1.2 trillion has gone into annuities in 2022, 2023, 2024. It's insane. And the spread of market share between variable annuities and indexed annuities, they're moving inverted. Variable annuity consumption's going down, indexed annuity consumption's going up. It is awesome. It is the perfect time to be in our industry, but we have to be able to capitalize on it, get people off the fence. And I think that chart will help to create a little bit more urgency. Not that we're trying to create fear, not that we're trying to create FOMO in people.
Urgency is different than fear.
It is.
Urgency is different than fear. There's, often complacency is the killer of dreams. And if we just sit there and do nothing, we just wish we would have. And creating urgency off of facts and, having a chart that shows that. So I guess the $1 million question is, when is that chart coming out, Caleb?
I can get it'll depend on how quick I can get the team to get it done. I'll send the idea and the info.
I would expect probably by the end of next week.
Yeah, well, I can expedite it. Okay. We can get it done.
So that I just on public record, you could get it done by the end of next week.
Yeah, we'll have it done. Okay. We'll have it in the resource vault. It's not that complicated. I'm just going to take the price and chart it out.
Here's what I'm learning about building a house. You don't ask, so is it going to be done soon? Yeah, it'll be done soon.
Soon.
Tell me what day this is going to be done.
Yep.
Yep. Well, that's awesome.
And then the last thing that I kind of took away from this past week was just the value of connections, the value of industry connections. Like, you want to obviously have a great relationship with your marketer, your IMO. That's a given. But man, if you can develop good relationship with your internal wholesalers at the insurance company, you can develop good relationship with the new business team at your insurance companies, the places you're submitting business to. I mean, that goes so far. I was able to develop and guys I've known for a while, that I've had relationship with for a while, just every time you get together and you hang out, it just deepens that, and it deepens it, and it deepens it. And now when you need to call in a favor, you're not calling in a favor on somebody you don't have any relational equity with. You're calling in a favor with somebody that knows you, you know them, and you've got rapport there. There's trust, and there's the desire to see each other win and succeed. And so when you make that request, it goes so much better. So to have those relationships.
Yeah, I can tell you, I posted something today. I've been doing daily devotionals, which I've never done that before. And I really am enjoying it. Like, I'm becoming protective of it.
Yeah.
But yesterday, this saying came through. It says, it was Chris Valentin talking about this. He says, I've often been through things that are harder than I can handle, but I've never been through something we together as a family can't handle.
Yeah.
And I think about that, when we're talking about the annuity business, that's life in general. We are better as a team. We are better as a unit. But when you're in the annuity business, we've said this so many times, it's a lonely business. And these relationships that you have, like I called a lady yesterday from Clear Spring, and I said, hey, how's it doing, Queen? And she goes, that's right, I forgot, I'm the Queen. And, I asked her a favor because I have a big case that I'm going to be writing for them, but she's able to answer the question for me. And, it just picked right back up where it was. And I need to get better at that too. It's just time is a commodity that's hard to come by.
It is.
And especially now.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Caleb.
Yeah. And I think the easy way to do it, the organic way to do it, is if you're going to be talking with them, take an extra 30 seconds or a minute to have some kind of personal exchange, right? It's like if I'm going to be on the phone with a wholesaler for 5 minutes, I can add on one extra minute. Hey man, how's your week been? How's, if I know anything about them, how's the wife? How's the kids? Husband, if it's a lady, like just how's your life? How is that, going? And then get into it and be done with it and move on. But if you do that, relatively frequently, you're going to start to cultivate that. And then if you get to interact with them in person, you get to go to a conference, you get to see them, it just reinforces it even more. But this is so important to have those relationships.
There's a killer and there's a creator in that statement. When you're talking with someone, if you're always looking for the quote unquote next most important person that's in the room, that person will never feel important. When you're talking to that person, be fully engaged.
Yeah.
And if you're going to ask a question, make it a real question. Make it not something you're just trying to kill time with. Be intentional in the questions you ask and actually have a vested interest in who they are, so yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm
becoming a softie, Caleb.
Yeah. I'll say one other thing that I've found, and I sum it up in this statement, that when you're giving somebody an encouragement or appreciation, impact is multiplied when specificity is applied. So if you want to maximize the income or the impact, maximize the specifics of your appreciation or your encouragement, right? The more vague it is, the less it means, but the more specific it is, the more impact it has. So, and that can go for appreciation to whoever you're working with. Tell them exactly why you appreciate them.
Agreed completely.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well,
good
it's
stuff.
good being back on. So hopefully I can be here. No, I will not be able to be here next week. I'm in Mexico for a girl that's like a daughter to me that is getting married.
That's awesome.
And so we shortened it real short, but I'm going to be there for her. So
good.
Okay.
That'll mean a lot.
Well, as always, happy selling.